In a world of flashy proposals and social media feeds demanding public declarations of love, we're taught that romance should be a spectacle. We see fortunes spent on one-day weddings and relationships that burn brightly before quickly burning out. But for the families who have held their fortunes for centuries, the old money, marriage isn't a spectacle at all. It's a quiet, strategic maneuver, the cornerstone of a dynasty designed to last for generations. Of course, love is part of the equation, but it's not the entire formula. For them, marriage is more than a union of two hearts. It's a merger of two legacies. This is the hidden world where romance is balanced with responsibility and passion is tempered by pragmatism. This is how the world's most powerful families really think about love, marriage, and legacy. So what's the fundamental principle that separates old money from everyone else? It's this: marriage isn't a happy ending to a love story, it's the beginning of a strategic partnership. For dynastic families, the main goal of a union isn't just the couple's happiness, but the preservation and growth of the family's wealth, influence, and name. While modern culture celebrates falling in love as this chaotic, unpredictable force, old money sees that as a potential liability, especially when $1 billion fortune and a 100-year legacy are on the line. Instead, love is something that's expected to grow from a foundation of shared values, mutual respect, and a joint commitment to a mission bigger than themselves. It's this mindset that helps explain why some family fortunes vanish in a single generation, while others, like the Rockefellers, have successfully kept theirs for over 7 generations, maintaining not just their wealth, but their unity. The merger before the marriage, a strategic alliance. Long before a proposal, even before a public courtship, there's a quiet calculation. For the old money class, marriage has always been a kind of economic and political tool. Think about it. European royal families used marriage to forge alliances, grab territory, and stop wars. It was business, plain and simple. And while it's less obvious today, that practice absolutely continues in the upper echelons. The Gilded Age gave us the perfect example with the dollar princesses. Wealthy American heiresses like Consuelo Vanderbilt were married off to British aristocrats who had impressive titles but empty bank accounts. Consuelo's mother, Alva, orchestrated her marriage to the 9th Duke of Marlborough to boost the Vanderbilt family's social status. The Duke got a massive dowry, worth over $100 million today, which he used to save his ancestral home, Blenheim Palace. He reportedly told Consuelo on their honeymoon he only married her for the money. It was loveless, but it served its purpose. It merged new American wealth with old British aristocracy and secured the legacy of both families. That strategic mindset is still around. In these circles, marrying well doesn't just mean marrying someone rich. It means marrying someone with the right kind of money and, more importantly, the right kind of values. A potential partner is sized up on things that might seem cold to an outsider: family reputation, understanding of financial stewardship, social connections, and their capacity for discretion. They aren't looking for a trophy spouse to show off. They want a partner who gets that wealth is a responsibility, not just a luxury. This is the opposite of some new money approaches where wealth is often used for spectacle. And old money knows that the most important merger isn't corporate, it's the one sealed with a wedding band. The unspoken rules of engagement, courtship, and partner selection. So how do you find the right partner? Well, the process is a delicate dance of discretion and observation. Basically the polar opposite of modern dating. Don't expect to find the heirs of a dynasty swiping through dating apps. Their courtships are quiet, private, and carefully managed. Privacy is everything. Relationships are developed far from the public eye, in curated environments like private clubs, family estates, charity galas, and Ivy League schools. These places serve two functions. They ensure privacy and they act as a natural filter, guaranteeing that potential partners already come from similar backgrounds. A relationship is almost never public until it's serious and has the family's unofficial stamp of approval. This isn't about being sneaky, it's about risk management. A public breakup is a scandal, and scandals damage reputations, which are considered a core family asset. Courtship is a long game of patience. It's less about flashy dates and more about observing someone in different situations. How do they treat the staff? How do they handle themselves at a formal dinner? Do they listen more than they talk? These are all data points. Good manners aren't just a pleasantry. They signal discipline and respect. A handwritten thank you note is worth more than an expensive gift because it shows character. And family approval is the critical hurdle. The meet the parents moment happens much earlier and carries a lot more weight. It's a key part of the vetting process. The family is sizing up the prospective spouse's character, their family's history, and whether they understand the duties that come with wealth. They need someone who will be a positive force, not a drain on resources or reputation. In these circles, you don't just marry a person, you marry their entire family tree. This whole deliberate process is designed to weed out those who are just attracted to the money. Gold diggers are usually spotted because they're impatient, ask about money, and value spectacle over substance.
The role of the spouse, a partner in legacy. Once the marriage is official, the spouse's role goes way beyond being a romantic partner. They become a co-steward of the family legacy, a trusted executive in the unwritten corporation of the dynasty. While one partner, traditionally the husband, might manage the family's core business interests and investments, the other partner's role is often just as critical, though less visible. She, for instance, frequently becomes the manager of the family's social capital, and this is a demanding, complex job. It can mean overseeing the family's philanthropic work, sitting on museum boards, managing the social calendar, and cultivating the relationships that maintain the family's standing in society. In many ways, she becomes the family's chief cultural officer, responsible for upholding its reputation. In an old money marriage, loyalty and discretion are the highest virtues. Public fights or airing dirty laundry are seen as the ultimate betrayal. Conflicts are always handled privately. A united front is essential because any crack in the facade can threaten the stability of the entire family. Their survival depends on it. The spouse is also a key player in the most important long-term project, raising the next generation. They are jointly responsible for instilling the family's core values in their children and preparing them to take over. This shared duty strengthens the marriage, turning it from a simple romance into a purposeful partnership. The spouse isn't just a companion, they're an indispensable ally in the quiet, long-term work of maintaining a dynasty. If you're finding this peek behind the velvet rope insightful, take a moment to subscribe for more deep dives into the mindsets that build and sustain generational fortunes. The heirs and the empire, raising the next generation. In the world of old money, children aren't just the product of a marriage, they're the entire point of it. They are the next link in a chain meant to stretch for centuries. As a result, their upbringing is a meticulously planned process designed to turn them from beneficiaries into future guardians. It all starts early with discipline and structure. Children are taught from a young age that their actions reflect on the entire family. Unlike some new money parents who might indulge every whim, old money families often instill a sense of responsibility. Take the famous story of John D. Rockefeller, who taught his children to keep a detailed ledger for their allowance. He was teaching them the value of money and the consequences of frivolous spending, a lesson that has been passed down through generations. Education is a top priority, but it goes way beyond the classroom. Sure, they're sent to the best schools, often their parents' alma maters, but their real education happens at home. At the dinner table, they learn the art of conversation and etiquette. They're taught financial literacy as a practical skill. A teenager might be given a small stock portfolio to manage, or be asked to review the family's charitable giving. The goal is to demystify money and teach them to see it as a tool, not a toy. The key here is the focus on stewardship over stardom. Children are taught that the family's wealth isn't really theirs. They are just its current caretakers with a duty to preserve it and grow it for the future. This is a profound psychological shift that helps prevent the entitlement that destroys so many fortunes. They learn the importance of philanthropy not as a tax write-off, but as a moral obligation that comes with wealth. The old principle of noblesse oblige, or nobility obliges. This is why a family like the Rockefellers has centered its identity around philanthropy for over a century. It's not an accident, it's by design. The fortress of fortune, legal and financial safeguards. Now, this entire approach to family isn't just based on culture and good manners. It's reinforced by a fortress of ironclad legal and financial structures. These families know that while values are the soul of a legacy, well-drafted legal documents are its skeleton. They leave nothing to chance, especially when it comes to the two biggest threats, divorce and taxes. The prenuptial agreement is a standard, almost non-negotiable part of getting married. In mainstream culture, a prenup can feel unromantic or like a sign of distrust. In old money circles, it's seen as a responsible business decision. The family's first duty is to protect assets that were accumulated over generations. The prenup isn't meant to be unfair. It's designed to clearly define what is marital property and what will always remain separate family property. It's a firewall that ensures a single failed marriage can't bring down a multi-generational empire. Beyond prenups, the most powerful tool is the trust. Old money has used trusts for centuries to protect their fortunes. John D. Rockefeller set up trust in the 20th century. Is it a spectacle at all? Family's wealth is passed down through generations, while minimizing the state of taxes and protecting it from predators or ex-spouses.
Of course, love is part of the equation, but it's not structured to enforce the family's values. Marriage is more than a union. Trust might be set up so a merger of beneficiary can't control the money directly. This is the hidden world. Instead, romance trusts demands with responsibility according to rules passed inside the original pragmatism. Some families of the world's most prenuptial families into their think about love, cut off marriage, and let to its child. If the marriage fundamental principle that separates this web of legal protections is the hard-nosed reality that underpins the soft elegance of the old money lifestyle. So what can we take away from this seemingly calculated approach to life and love? We've seen that for old money, marriage is a strategic merger. Courtship is a quiet process where character is prized above all. A spouse is a co-steward of a multi-generational enterprise, and children are raised to be guardians of a fortune, not just consumers of it. This whole system is then locked down with a sophisticated wall of legal tools like trusts and prenups. Their legacy isn't an accident. It's the result of a deliberate long-term strategy. They have mastered the art of thinking in generations, not just lifetimes. Which brings us to a final question. In our age of fleeting romance, is there some wisdom to be found in a world where love is built to last for centuries? Is there something to be said for treating marriage not just as a matter of the heart, but as the foundational cornerstone of a legacy?